A very good morning to all the students. So in the previous sessions we have completed the concept of B trees, and today we are going to start a new topic on AVL trees. So the flow for this AVL trees will be like this. First of all, we will discuss some concepts related to the binary search tree, where we will discuss what a binary search tree is and what are the disadvantages of binary search tree, and that particular discussion on the disadvantages of the binary search tree will give some idea why we are entering into a new tree concept which is called as AVL tree. And then we will discuss the history of AVL tree, few lines of history about this AVL trees. Then we will discuss the actual definition of the AVL tree, and one important concept related to that AVL tree will be discussed, that is called as the balance factor. We also call it with different names like height invariant, but the most popular name is the balance factor. So we'll discuss what this balance factor is and how we can calculate this balance factor for a given binary search tree. And finally we will discuss the types of rotations we have, right? What are these rotations, why we use these rotations, all these things we'll discuss, right? So this is how I have planned for today's session. Coming to the discussion on the binary search tree, as I told that before discussing the concept of this AVL tree, we should discuss what these binary search trees are. So can anybody tell me what do you mean by a binary search tree? What is a binary search tree?
The tree consisting of left subtree is less than the root node and the right subtree is greater than or equal to root node.
Right. So it is a binary tree. That means it should have at most, every node should have at most 2 children. In addition to satisfy this property of the binary tree, it should also, that means the binary search tree also should satisfy 2 more properties. That means the elements that are less than the root node will be placed as the left child, and the elements that are greater than will be placed as the right child. Right. So if this is the case, that means if a tree satisfies these 3 properties, the first property is an obvious property. Why? Because we are calling this binary search tree as a binary tree. So it should satisfy the property that every node should have at most 2 children. And in addition to that property, it should also satisfy these 2 properties, that is the left, all the lesser elements than the root node should be placed as the left subtree, and the elements towards its right hand side of the root node will be greater than the root node. So if this is satisfied, we call it as a binary search tree, right? So what is the worst case of the binary search tree? Can anybody tell me?
Skewed binary tree.
Right, super, right. Worst case is nothing but the formation of the skewed binary tree, whether it can be a right skewed binary tree or a left skewed binary tree. So when do we get the skewed binary tree? So while you are constructing a binary search tree, when do we get this skewed binary tree?
When the elements are in ascending or descending order.
Super, right. If the elements are arranged in the ascending order or the descending order, then we get the binary search tree as the skewed binary tree, right? So for example, let me take 5 elements, 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Right. So if I construct the binary search tree, 10 is placed as the root node, and then 20 should be towards the right side of 10, and 30 should be placed towards the right side of 20, and then 40 and then 50. So this is called as right skewed binary tree. So what is the disadvantage of, what actually is the advantage we have with the binary search trees?
Search operation will be easy, sir.
Right.
It will be in logarithm.
They are going to improve the efficiency of the search, insertion and deletion operations, right? So we are going to search only half of the elements. We are either going to search in the left hand side or we are going to search in the right hand side. So almost at each and every point you are performing your operation in only half of the elements. You are going through only half of the elements, right? So thereby you are getting the efficient search, insertion and deletion operations. But if you consider the worst case scenario where you are constructing a binary search tree consisting of elements which are given in the ascending order, then you will get a BST like this, which is called as the skewed binary, right? Skewed binary tree. So what can be the search operation? What can be the worst case search operation here? What? Can anybody tell me?
Big O of n.
Searching for the highest element.
Right, searching for the highest element that is placed as the last element, right? So the worst case can be given as big O of n, but this is equal to big O of h. That means the search operation depends upon the height of the BST. Do you agree with it or not? What is the height of this binary search tree? So root is taken as 1, this is 1, this is 2 and this is 3, this is 4 and this is 5. So the height is of this constructed BST with these list of ascending number of elements is height is equal to 5. So if I want to search 50, what is happening here? I have to compare 50, the search key element k is equal to 50, 50 should be compared with 10, since it is greater than, go to its right hand side, compare 20 and 50, then again compare 30 and 50, compare 40 and 50, 50 and 50, here you have found it, right? So when you are going to search an element which is placed as the last element at the last level, so that becomes the worst case where the complexity of the operation is proportional or it depends on the height of the BST. Do you agree it or not?
Yes, sir.
So this h is equal to n, this h becomes n, that is the big O of h complexity becomes big O of n when it is a skewed binary tree. Let us take another example, right? Let me take a simple example, 40, 30, 20, this is 35. Shit. We are able to see this BST, right? Is it a BST or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now I want to search for an element 30. Right. How many comparisons I should make?
2.
Only 2.
Super. 2, right? So for searching the key element as 30, it is 2 comparison operations we are performing. For searching the element 35, how many comparison operations I should make?
3, sir.
3, sir.
3, right. So what is this 3? Is it the height of the BST or not?
Yes,
So
sir.
here h1, this is 2 and this is 3, therefore the height is of this binary search tree is 3. So if I want to search an element which is present at the second level, it is equal to 2, which is the height of that particular element, right? It is the depth of that element. Similarly, if I want to find an element 35, it is equal to 3, that means I am performing 3 comparisons which is equal to the height of the BST. And similarly the unsuccessful case also, for example I want to search for an element 38, so how many comparison operations I should perform?
3, sir.
3,
sir.
right? So I compare it with 40, 30, 35 and that is the end of the search operation. So here also I am making 3 comparison operations. So in this case also we am getting the efficiency or the complexity is equal to h, right. So this is the disadvantage of the binary search tree, not this one. So this actually is working perfectly, right. The height is very small, and if you consider the worst case where you are constructing a binary search tree from the elements which are given in the ascending or descending order, so that is the worst case analysis of the BST, right. So the complexity of the search, insertion and deletion operations is going to increase. Is it clear up to this point?
Clear, sir.
So that is the disadvantage of the binary search trees we have. If you are forming a binary search tree which is balanced, is it balanced or not? I told you about the balancing, right. So the number of elements on the left hand side should be almost equal to the number of elements on the right hand side. Such type of trees we call it as the balanced. But here there is no balance here. That means all the elements are towards its right hand side only, but there are no elements towards the left hand side of the root element. So this is the disadvantage of the binary search tree. So the binary search tree may lead to the construction of a tree which can be a right skewed binary tree or a left skewed binary tree. So if you are doing such in such cases, when you have this right skewed binary tree or the left skewed binary tree, the complexity of the operations such as the insertion, search and deletion will be increased. So in order to avoid this disadvantage, we are not going to avoid it. In order to overcome this disadvantage, we should have some height balanced trees. What do you understand by the term height balanced trees? Give me a wild guess. What do you understand by this height balanced trees?
Leaf should be at this
Height of left subtree equal to height of right subtree.
Right. So these are the trees which are balanced in the height, right. So that means the height of the left subtree should be almost equal to the height of the right subtree. There should not be a longer distances, right. So one left subtree, one child cannot be with less height and another child cannot be with greater height, right. So we are going to balance the trees based upon the height. So here is the purpose why we have gone through this AVL trees. Do you understand why we have why we are doing this AVL trees concept? Why we are looking into this AVL trees concept?
Yes, sir.
Right. So in order to discuss the AVL trees, first of all we should discuss the binary search tree, and we should discuss the worst case scenario of the binary search tree, and we must discuss what happens in the worst case scenario of the binary search trees. This is the problem, and for this problem we are giving a solution in terms of height balanced trees. So there are many height balanced trees in the data structures. One is the AVL trees, another one is the red black trees, and we have the split trees, right, which we are going to see in the next unit, which is the 5th unit. So all these three are the height balanced. There are more number of height balanced trees in the data structures, but our syllabus is confined to AVL trees, red black trees and the split trees. Right. But this AVL tree is the first height balanced tree that is proposed by 3 authors: Adelson, Velsky and Landis. That is the reason why these trees are called as AVL trees. Therefore, these height balanced binary search trees are named after their authors: Adelson, Velsky and Landis. And this is the first height balanced BST that is proposed by anyone. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So everything is similar. Everything is similar. That means you have to construct the binary search tree, and when you construct the binary search tree, at each and every step, you have to find whether the tree is balanced or not. How we are going to check that whether the tree is balanced or not? This depends upon one important concept related to this AVL trees, which is called as the balance factor. This one. We'll see what this balance factor is. Very simple topic this AVL trees is, right? I'm not talking about the programming part, the implementation part. That means the theoretical part, how we construct this AVL tree and how we are going to check the balance factor of each and every node and how we are going to rebalance the AVL trees is very simple topic. But all that you need is a simple concentration on the concept, right? So similar concept we have discussed in the earlier classes, that is the B tree. So the B tree restricts itself to have the minimum height. This point we have discussed. Am I right or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
all these advanced trees, we call them as advanced trees, right? Previously we used to have these trees concept in the data structures. That means the introduction to the trees, the terminology related to the trees, the binary tree, complete binary tree, full binary tree. All these introductory concepts are placed in the data structure subject. But these topics like AVL trees, red black trees, split trees, randomized binary trees, all these are treated as the advanced data structures concept. But they have modified the syllabus for us and they have completely removed the advanced data structures concept. So in order to have an idea of what these advanced trees concept are and what are the advantages we have for these height balanced trees, that should be known to the student. So for that purpose they have added these advanced trees into our syllabus. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now with this introductory concepts on the AVL trees, we will go through the presentation. Right. The introduction to the AVL trees. This is not the introduction to the AVL trees. This is the introduction to the binary search tree and why we are entering into this height balanced trees. The reason for entering into this height balanced trees will be discussed in this particular slide. Right. So we know what a binary search tree is. It is a binary tree which satisfies the two conditions, that is all the elements towards the left side of the root node should be less than the binary search tree and all the elements towards the right hand side of the root node will be greater than the root node, right? So this is very important concept, right? You should have the lesser values in the left side and greater values in the right side, right? So one important note you should remember here is the binary search trees does not have the duplicates. It does not allow duplicates. What do you mean by duplicate?
Repeating same element.
Same value.
Repeating same elements. For example, if I take an element 50 and if I insert this 50 inside a binary search tree, you will never come across another element which is 50, right? Why? Because the binary search tree definition is defined in such a way that it is less than and greater than. That's it, right? So once we are clear about this binary search tree, we will discuss the disadvantages of the binary search tree. We will just go through it, right? We have already discussed them. So they are efficient only when they are balanced. This is what we have discussed in the previous example, right? This is the example. In this particular example, the tree is balanced. That means the number of elements in the left subtree is almost equal to the number of elements in the right subtree. In such case, it will be very efficient. But the straightforward sequence of insertions can lead to highly unbalanced trees, right? This type. And the worst case scenario we will get whenever we are constructing a binary search tree in the ascending order or in the descending order, right? So this is what he has told. So insertion of n elements with keys that are in strictly increasing or strictly decreasing order, the complexity will be big of n. The simple point you have to remember here is, when you are going to construct a binary search tree with n number of elements which are in the increasing order or decreasing order, the complexity of the operation is going to increase. That is what you have to remember, right? So one important question that I would like to ask you is whether the time complexity should be lesser value or it should be higher value.
Less value, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So you have to keep the time complexity value as low as possible. Then only the efficiency of the algorithm can be as high as possible, right? So if they are inversely proportional, that means the efficiency of the algorithm is inversely proportional to the time complexity. So if the time complexity is reduced, the efficiency is increased. Our ultimate goal is to increase the efficiency of the algorithm, whether it can be a search algorithm or insertion algorithm or deletion algorithm, whatever it may be, we want to increase the efficiency. So in order to increase the efficiency of the algorithm, we are going to decrease the time complexity, right? So we are going to propose different structures which have less time complexity, thereby we are getting the efficient algorithms. So that is the main goal we have. So the solution for this imbalanced and high complex or inefficient algorithms is, we have to dynamically rebalance the search tree, right, during the insertion or delete operation. We have to rebalance. This is important. This is what we are going to do in the complete AVL tree concept, rebalancing. So the researchers has developed many different algorithms for keeping the tree in balance. First is the AVL tree, next we have the red black trees, and then we have split trees, and then we have randomized binary search trees, right? And as I told that we will be discussing these three concepts from our syllabus. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
coming to the history of these AVL trees, as I told that these are the simple and efficient data structure to maintain the balance. Height balancing is very important. You should keep the height of a tree as low as possible to have the efficient search, insertion and the deletion operations. So we are going to balance the trees. And the first balanced tree concept has been proposed is the AVL trees, and it is named after their authors or inventors. We can call it as inventors also, right? So G.M. Edelson, so we take A from here, and Welsky we take V from here, and E.M. Landis we take L from here. That is the reason why we call these trees as AVL trees, and it was proposed in 1962. See, it was proposed in 1962, and still we are studying these concepts. The importance, it is used in many of the applications where you want to store large amount of data, right? And this is another important point you should know, right? So it is just a terminology, you should remember, that's it. Concept is very simple, right? So in BST we have ordering invariant. You never heard of this particular term. This is a new term you are getting here, right? It is from one author, Farozan. So BST is having the ordering invariant. Ordering invariant is nothing but the left element should be less than the root node and the right element should be greater than the root node. That is what the ordering invariant is. How we are going to order the elements. So at any node with key k in a binary search tree, all keys of the elements in the left subtree are strictly less than k, right? You take the root node as k. What happens to all the elements in the left hand side? They are less than the key. Similarly, what happens to all the elements in the right hand side? They are greater than the key k, right? So this is nothing but the ordering invariant or ordering property also we can say. And AVL trees, we need the concept of height of the tree also. Why? Because we say that the AVL trees are height balanced binary search trees. So in addition to this ordering invariant, we should also concentrate on the height of the BST. So we know what the height is. This is just a definition of the height he is giving. So the height is the maximal length of the path from the root to the leaf. So what is the leaf node? You know. What is the root node? You know, right? So what is the maximum path? How many edges are there between the root and the leaf that is present at the longest distance? That is called as the maximum length, right? So that is the height of the tree. And an empty tree will have a height 0, and then a tree with one node will, this is a node, a tree, right? What is the height of this tree? It is 1. And what happens if you draw like this? What is the height of this tree?
2.
It is 2, right? It is level 0 and level 1, and the height is 2. And if you add one more element like this, let me draw like this, D. What happens here? The height is going to be increased, right? So it becomes the 3. So this is all about the height of a tree. And coming to our point of interest, which is the AVL tree, and by definition itself it is called as the height balanced tree. So we are going to concentrate on the height. And one important point, very important point regarding this AVL trees is the term called height invariant, right? So AVL trees maintain a height invariant. A height invariant is sometimes called as balance invariant or the balance factor. This particular term, the balance factor, is most frequently used in all the discussions, right? Nobody makes use of this term height invariant. Nobody makes use of the term balance invariant, right? So we are very familiar with the term called balance factor. You see any number of text that is related to this AVL trees, or any number of videos you go through this on this AVL trees, you will come across the term called as the balance factor, right? So we will see the formula of this balance factor in the next slide, but for the present point of discussion, what this balance factor is, the heights of the left and right subtrees differs at most by 1, and this property should be satisfied by all the nodes in the tree. Not only one node you have to check, you have to check this balance factor for each and every node present in the binary search tree, right? So what does this balance factor is saying? It is saying that the heights of left and right subtree should differ at most by 1. At most by 1 means we will see, right? Let me go through the next slide also. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So coming to the AVL tree definition, right? So the AVL tree, as I told, that this is a height balanced binary search tree. See how long it is. It is binary search tree along with one property which is called as balancing of height, right? So that is either empty or consists of two AVL trees, that is TL. TL stands for left tree, and TR stands for the right tree, which are nothing but the left subtree and the right subtree, right? And whose heights differ by no more than 1, that is nothing but at most 1 should be there. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
And
sir.
as I told that it is also called as height balanced trees. In short form we can call them as height balanced trees, right? And the balance factor, which is we have defined it as height invariant. In the previous slide we are calling it as height invariant, and the formula for this height invariant or the balance factor is HL, which is nothing but the height of the left subtree minus the height of the right subtree is less than or equal to 1, right? So you should consider the height of left subtree, and you should take the height of the right subtree, and you should subtract the height of the right subtree from the height of the left subtree. Thereby you will get one value, and that one value should be less than or equal to 1. What is this lines here? Can anybody tell me? What are these lines?
Modulus, sir. I mean, absolute value తీసుకోవాలి.
Absolute value. Super, right? Those are called as absolute value. That means you are not going to consider the signs before it. You are not going to consider the minus sign. You are going to consider only positive sign. So it is called as 0 and 1. Right? Actually, when we consider this balance factor, the balance factor can take only 3 values according to the definition of AVL tree. That is, it can take the -1 value, it can take 0, or it can take +1. But according to this definition, he is saying that the modulus of HL minus HR is less than or equal to 1. So he is not going to take this. Why? Because -1 of modulo is nothing but 1. That's it. Right? Less than or equal to 1 means 0 and 1. Only 2 values are accepted according to this definition. But remember that you also have the -1 value. Right? So the acceptable values for the balance factor of any node in the AVL tree are -1, 0 and +1. Is it clear?
Clear,
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is what he is discussing in this particular point. The balance factor of any node in the AVL tree must be +1, 0 or -1. Right. So when do we get +1? If the height of the left subtree is greater than the height of the right subtree. For example, if I take the height of left subtree as 2 and I take the right subtree height as 1, what is the balance factor I should define? Balance factor is defined as HL minus HR, that is equal to 2 minus 1, that is equal to +1. So you get a positive balance factor +1 whenever the left subtree is the height of the left subtree is greater than the height of the right subtree. And when do we get 0? Very simple, right? When the height of the left subtree is equal to the height of the right subtree, then HL minus HR becomes 2 minus 2, that is equal to 0. And similarly, you will get the -1 value when the height of the left subtree is less than the height of the right subtree. So 1 minus 2, we will get -1. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we will discuss some of how do we calculate this balance factor with few examples. So remember one important point, very important point. When you are asked for an AVL tree, the first and foremost point you should remember is you should have a tree which is a binary search tree. Right. So can anybody tell me what could be the construction of the AVL tree?
Construction of binary search tree, sir. But we check balance factor, sir. If it is not balanced, we can balance it.
Super, right. So the construction of AVL tree is nothing but the construction of the binary search tree. But whenever, sometimes the binary search tree does not bother about the balance factor. When you keep on incrementing the values, you just go like this. But the AVL tree concentrates on the balance factor. Therefore, the construction of AVL tree is similar to that of the construction of the binary search tree, but sometimes you may get the balance factor of the nodes which are greater than the values of -1 and +1, right? So you may get a value of -2, you may get a value of -3, like that. So in such case you have to rebalance that particular binary search tree. So that is nothing but the AVL tree. We will see with few examples, don't worry, right? Now if you are able to see the screen example,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
is it a BST or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is 10, this is 4, these are the node values 1, 7, 13, 19 and 16. What is the height of this BST?
3, sir.
3, right?
Three,
We
sir.
have 3 levels starting from 0, 1, 2, therefore the height is 3. And in order to check the height invariant of this tree, listen carefully, I am saying that the height invariant of the entire tree, that means the balance factor of the entire tree, is dependent on the balance factor of each and every node. Right. You will say that the entire tree has a height satisfied or height invariant is satisfied whenever each and every node satisfies the height invariant property. Right. So if you look at the last node, which is the leaf node 1, what is the balance factor here? Does it have any left child?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So the height of left child is 0. And does it have any right child?
No, sir.
No, right. Therefore the height of right subtree is 0. So 0 minus 0, it is 0. Similarly, you can remember a blind mark, you can make that all the leaf nodes will have the balance factor as 0. Nothing to discuss in it, right? Now coming to the fourth node, the node 4. What is the height of left subtree?
1, sir.
1. What is the height of right subtree?
1, sir.
It is 1, right? 1 minus 1, therefore we get the height of this node or the balance factor of this node as 0. Now coming to 16. In the similar manner, the height of the left subtree is 1 and the height of the right subtree is 1. So 1 minus 1, it is 0. When you go to the root node and if you consider the balance factor here, you can observe here that the height of the left subtree of 10 is 2, right? This is one path and this is the second path. So the longest path from the root node to the leaf node is called as the height. So the height of left subtree is 2, and what about the height of the right subtree of 10?
2 only.
No, sir.
It is 2, right? This is one path and this is second path. So this is here also we have the height as 2. Therefore 2 minus 2, it becomes 0. Is it true? Is
Yes,
it right
sir.
or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you observe this particular binary search tree, every node is having a balance factor of 0. And it lies in between these 3 values only. Every node is having 0 and it lies between these 3 values. Therefore, the entire binary search tree that is given in the example is satisfying the height invariant property, which we also call it as balance factor. Now we will take another example like this, where we are taking the same previous thing only, but I am adding an element 14. Where should I add 14 here? Insertion of 14 into a binary search tree should be considered. So you compare this 14 with the root node. Since 14 is greater than the 10 value, you go towards this right hand side. We have 16 on the right child as the right child of 10. Compare 14 and 16. Since 14 is less than 16, go to its left hand side. Compare 13 and 14. Since 14 is greater than 13, go to its right hand side. Since there are no child nodes for the 13 at that position, you make a node of 14 here and you link this 14 as the right child of 13. So it's a normal insertion operation that we follow in the BST only, right? But here our concept is to check the balance factors of each and every node. What are the balance factors of leaf nodes?
0, sir.
0, sir.
0. So 1, 7, 14, 19, which are the leaf nodes, they have the balance factor as 0. What about the balance factor of 4?
0, sir.
So height of left subtree is 1, height of right subtree is 1, therefore it becomes 1 minus 1, that is 0. Now tell me what is the height of the balance factor of 13?
1, sir.
Minus 1, sir.
1, sir.
It is not
I mean
1,
minus.
it is minus 1. Right. So what is the height of left subtree of 13?
0, sir.
0, sir.
0, right. What is the height of right subtree of 13?
1, sir.
1. So 0 minus 1, it becomes minus 1. Therefore the balance factor of this 13 is minus 1. Now what about the 16?
1, sir.
Balance factor modulus, sir.
Yeah, we can, that is the formula that is given by particular author called as Farozan, right? You can take the modulus, but you can take this minus 1 value also, not an issue. As I told that, you keep it in mind that every node can accept only 3 values as the balance factor, that is minus 1, 0 and plus 1. So if you get the balance factor other than these 3 values, we say that the tree is imbalanced, right? So minus 1 is also acceptable, don't get confused, right? That is the formula that is given in Farozan textbook, that's it, one textbook. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Now what happens to the balance factor of node 16? What is the height of left subtree?
2, sir.
2, right? This is 1 and this is 2. What is the height of right subtree?
1, sir.
Only 1, right? So it becomes 1. So the balance factor of 16 is 1. What happens to the balance factor of 10?
Minus 1, sir.
Right. What is the height of the left subtree? It is 2. Right. This is 1 and this is 2. And what is the height of the right subtree? We have to take the longest path, right? From 10 you start here, you go to this node, and here you go to this node 2, and this is 3. Therefore it becomes 3. So the balance factor of node 10 is minus 1. Now you have to check whether all the nodes that is representing this binary search tree have the balance factor that fall in this range or not. Right? Every node falls within this range only, minus 1, plus 1 and 0 are there. So this particular BST is also satisfying the height invariant property. It is also a balanced tree. We can consider it as the AVL tree. Right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now I want to add one more element which is called as 15. Where should I insert 15?
Right child of 14, sir.
Right. So I should insert 15 as the right child of 14. This is how I have to do. Am I right or not? Compare 15 with 10, greater than, go to its right hand side. Compare 15 with 16, less than, go to its left hand side. Compare 15 with 13, go to its right hand side. Compare 14 with 15, greater than, go to its right hand side. Here I have created a node and I have added it as 15. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Now calculate the balance factors at each and every node. as we know that the leaf nodes 1, 7, 15 and 19 are zeros. What is the balance factor of 14? You tell me in the formula. Right, that is 0
Minus
minus
one.
1. 0 minus 1, it is minus 1. What happens to the 13 here?
-2, sir.
-2, sir.
So the height of left subtree is 0 and the height of right subtree is 2, and 0 minus 2 we get it as -2. What happens to 4?
0, sir.
Sir.
0, sir.
What is the balance factor of 16?
2, sir.
2, sir.
Right. So what is the height of this left subtree of 16? We have to take the maximum path, that is this is 1 and here we have 2 and again we have 3. So it is 3 minus, what is this one? Height of right subtree?
1, sir.
1.
1,
3
sir.
minus 1 is 2. Right. And what about this one? 10.
2, sir.
What is the
-2.
height of left subtree?
-2.
The height of left
2
subtree
minus
is
4.
2 and the height of right subtree is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So it is 4. So this becomes -2. So if you observe this particular binary search tree, you can clearly see that some of the nodes are not having the balance factor that fall in between this range. -1, 0 and +1. What are the nodes that are violating this property?
10,
10,
16, 13, sir.
16 and 13. Right. Is it clear? We will see how to rebalance it and what node should be rebalanced. All these things we will discuss. But this is the concept where we are discussing how to calculate the balance factors of each and every node in a binary search tree. That's it. Right. So all the balancing formulas and all the balancing examples we will discuss in the coming classes. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we have discussed. Right. So once I'll just go through the introductory parts related to these rotations. Right. So and then we'll postpone the discussions of these types of rotations for tomorrow's session. Right. Why? Because once we start the rotations topic, it almost requires 1 hour of time. Right. So if you start now, we have to pause it and then again we have to recap it again. So that's not a good suggestion. So what I am going to do is I'll just discuss what these rotations are and then we will have a pause. Right. So in this particular example, what is the balance factor of 10?
-2, sir.
-2.
What is the balance factor of 16?
2, sir.
What is the balance factor of 13?
-2.
-2.
So in this example, the three nodes that are 10, 16 and 13 are violating the property of the AVL tree. So when we have nodes which are not in the range of this -1, 0 and +1, we have to perform an operation called as rotation. So the rotation operations that are present in the AVL trees are used to rebalance the binary search trees. Right. We are going to rebalance it. So if somebody asks you how do you rebalance an AVL tree, means we are going to rebalance it by making use of various rotation operations. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we have two categories of rotations. Those are called as single rotations and the second category is double rotations. Right. So what are the two categories we have in rotations? One is the single rotations and the second one is double rotations. Right. So what are the rotations that fall under the single rotation category they are LL and RR. LL rotation, RR rotation. Actually these are not rotations. We should not call them as rotations. These are called as imbalances. So it is called as L of L imbalance. We'll see everything in tomorrow's class, right? Don't worry. So this is termed as L of L imbalance, where L is nothing but the left. So left of left imbalance. What about this RR rotation, RR imbalance? These are called as right of right imbalance. Right. So if we have this LL imbalance, we have to perform a rotation. If we have this RR imbalance, we have to perform a type of rotation. So what type of rotations we are going to do, that we will discuss in next class. And coming to these double rotations, we have again two types of double rotations, that is LR imbalance and another one is RL imbalance. That's it. Right. So what do you mean by LR imbalance? But actually you should pronounce it
Left of right.
right. So it is left of right imbalance. And similarly RL imbalance means right of left imbalance. Right. We'll see, everything will clear in the next session, but at the present point of time you remember that whenever we have nodes that are not falling, whenever we have nodes that have the balance factor that does not fall into the category of -1, 0 and +1, you should perform the balancing or the rebalancing operation should be done. For rebalancing operation, we should know what type of rotations you have to perform. In order to know what type of rotations you have to perform, you have to know what categories of rotations are there. There are two categories of rotations. One is the single rotation and the second one we call it as the double rotation. So under the single rotations, there are two imbalances that happen, that is LL imbalance or R imbalance. LL imbalance stands for left of left imbalance. RR imbalance stands for right of right imbalance. And similarly in the other category, that is the double rotations, we have two types of imbalances, that is the LR imbalance and the RL imbalance. LR imbalance stands for left of right imbalance and RL imbalance stands for the right of left imbalance. Right. So this is what we are discussed here. So insertion of a node or deletion of a node from the tree results in a tree that is unbalanced. Solution is to rebalance the AVL trees. The balancing of the AVL trees is done by rotating the nodes either towards its left or right. These are the actual rotations, right? So either you have to rotate it in the left hand side or you have to rotate it in the right hand side. And all the unbalanced trees, they fall into these four cases only. The first one is left of L, which we are calling it as LL. Case 2 is right of right, which we are calling it as RR. And case 3 is right of left, which we are calling it as RL. And the last case, which is case 4, it is left of right, which is called as LR. Right. So this is the end of today's session. We'll stop here, and in the next session we will continue with the same topic of this AVL trees, where we will be discussing very important concepts on this type of imbalances. All these four cases we will discuss with examples, and we will see how we can rebalance them by using this left and right rotations. very important concept. We will take few examples and we will explain everything. Right. So this is the end of today's session. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir.